All right, guys haven't seen me for I don't even know how long, but hello, I'm back, and this is a special video because this is one of my first readings. Someone asked me about, and they wanted. I'm not going to mention who that person is, but I I wanted to do it this way so it can be convenient for that person, and also you guys get a taste as to how the readings go. And this person wants, they wanted a reading on, and how I do my readings is all based on you guys, like whatever you want, however long you want it, whatever you want it on. I don't do it, it's not fixed, like, okay, it's just about this, it's only $20 an hour. And I do it, it's all based off of what you want to know or need to know. So this person knows who they are, and they want to know about it's a general, basically what I got from there is a general chart reading, right? They want to know about the basic things: personality, career, relationships. And so that's what I'm going to touch on. And I have their chart right here in front of me. So, and this person, they want to know more about the aspects, so that's what I'm going to touch on. But I think for this person, it would be extremely beneficial for them to know about their personality, their ascendant, right? Their ascendant, their rising sign, the sign that was rising on the east when they were born. And so I'm going to touch on that more than anything else, because it'll if you know your ascendant, which is most important house, your first house, if you know what's going on with that, then you can pinpoint what's going on with every other area of your life. That's the most important house. And this person, I'm just getting into it. This person has Virgo rising, 2 degrees. Let me see. Yeah, 2 degrees. That's the constellation of Uttara Falguni. Uttara Falguni. And so that off Jump Street just tells me that this is a leader. This person is a leader. They lead, and in this part, because Uttara Falguni goes from 20, 26 point. Don't quote me on this. It's 26.40 degrees of Leo, all the way until 10 degrees of Virgo. And this constellation, the symbol is like a bed, like the back. You know how you got a bed, right? This is the front of the bed. This is the back. Uttara Falguni represents the back part. It's the sustaining part. And so what that means is Uttara Falguni is about sustenance of marriage, because this is what this constellation is about. Uttara Falguni and Purva Falguni, they're all about, these two constellations are about marriage and the courting of marriage and the sustenance of marriage. Purva Falguni is about the courting part, like just starting off, the dating part, going out and doing wonderful things and stuff like that. Uttara Falguni is about sustaining that. Things like, you know, how can I put it? It's like, okay, we're married. How can we sustain this marriage? So that's what this is about. And for this person, they have this rising. So their appearance, their attitude, more than anything, attitude. The first house, I find that it's more. It means more. The first house and attitude. Those two really go hand in hand. Your overall attitude. And that's the thing I want to stress on. The first house is about attitude, your general attitude towards life. Okay, you have a bad attitude. You would feel like you're all about relationships, or you're all about fun, or you're all about whatever your attitude is, how you approach life. So Uttara Falguni is all about sustenance. They want to sustain whatever it is they're engaged in. Mostly relationships, marriage, especially if you're talking about the Navamsha chart, the D9 chart. It's the ninth harmonic chart in Western astrology. But this person has that rising. So they're everything they think about, everything they're not think about, but everything they're engaged in or want to get engaged in, they want to sustain it. See, whether it's a business, a relationship, career, family life, home life, all of that, everything. They want to find a way. Okay, what can I do to make this stable? Okay, and to get to the Virgo side of it, it's and I laugh because like I have Virgo rising in my Navamsha chart, and I just recently got married, so I connect with this person, and if I'm not mistaken, my Virgo, my Navamsha, my D9 chart, it has like 1 or 2 degrees rising, and this one has 2 degrees rising. So there's some, there's some resonance there. But these people are all about health, being health conscious, for the better or worse. We'll get into that in a second. But they're all about health. They're all about work. They're all about what they do every day. They're conscious of, okay, everything I do every single day is what my life is about. So if they're like, I don't know, drinking and smoking every day, if they're doing that, then they're like, okay, this is helping me, or this is not working. But the thing is that this is what they're conscious about. This is what their personality, and another thing for this person, personality is the first house, not the expression of it. That's the 5th house. Your personality is your first house. Personality is your first house. The expression of your personality is the 5th house, and the sun, and the Lord of the 5th house, and all of those kind of things. I'm just telling this person their personality. And if you have Virgo here, you're all about like, man, am I eating the right things? Am I eating the wrong things? What am I doing every day? What is my routine? What is my daily routine? Oh man, am I doing good at work? Am I doing bad at work? What's going on at work? These are health conscious people. These are they have a connection with pets. Like they relate, if they don't feel their pets, not pets, but if they don't feel their animals somehow, they have some kind of dealing with them. Like, man, I gotta take care of, and it depends on where Mercury is. Mercury's in the fifth house. They're gonna be, that's where they're gonna go. They're gonna treat those, okay, like, man, am I doing the right things as far as fun goes, as far as children goes, as far as my stock goes, as far as my education, as far as me having fun. Like, am I having fun? So it becomes a compulsive, what do you call it, OCD. These people have OCD. Like, man, am I doing the right thing? What's going on? And it can go either way. If Mercury is bad, then it's like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What am I doing wrong? And they'll just become obsessed with this kind of thing. Like, they'll become, like in the sixth house, they'll be like, when they go to work, everything has to be perfect. If Mercury is bad, man, they'll feel like they'll try and everything. They'll try and exact everything. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to exact everything, but it won't work, or it'll be hard. But if Mercury's good, it'll be the same thing, but they'll be successful with it. That's the key to learn about good and bad placements. And for this person, they have Mercury in Pisces, debilitated, in the seventh house. So what that means is, everything I was saying, they take into relationships. They're looking for a partner that doesn't necessarily exist, or they're just far away. They just seem like they're a far away person, because that's what Pisces is, and they have their Mercury in Pisces, debilitated. That's the worst place for Pisces to be, and so they have Mercury there. But like I said in the beginning, with every bad placement, with every bad aspect, any placement, anything, there was always solution. And the solution is, you look to the other house. Either you look to the other house, or you become aware of what the problem is. Because if you know why something is happening, if you are aware of it, if you are aware of why something is happening, how could it bother you? You know why it's happening. It's like this analogy I always use, that basically, like, in sports where you got one side play, they got to play, and the other side has a play. Knowing what your placements are and why they're happening is like knowing the other person's play. You know what's coming. You know what's coming. You know what they're doing. You know the whole point of it. So it's not going to bother you. Now, I can say, try it out for yourself. Try it out for yourself. Or think back for a time where you knew why something was going to happen. You understood it. You was aware of why it was going to happen, and it did not bother you because of this fact. I already know why she calling. I already know why this happened. It's not going to bother you. It might bother you. It could bother you. Sure, it could. But not as much as if you did not know why it was happening. And that is like the number one thing with astrology. And with this person and every person that I do readings for and every single video that I make, I want you guys to understand this. That is the number one reason why I make these videos or are engaged in astrology. To make you and myself aware why things are happening. How could it bother you? So for example, I'm gonna get back to this person. They have a debilitated, okay, they have a Virgo rising, Virgo ascendant, and the Mercury, their ruling planet of their entire life, is debilitated. So for this person, they feel like, oh my gosh, every time I get into a relationship, the communication doesn't work out. I'm doing the wrong thing, I'm communicating the wrong thing, or they're communicating the wrong thing. Mercury also rules for Virgo ascendant the 10th house. I'm going to get to that. But as far as where relationships go, and I'm dawning on relationships because that's where Mercury sits for this person. Their ruling planet, but their personality. That's what this person wanted to know about. And I'm telling you that's watching this video, the solution is to be aware of how you come across to your spouse, to other people. Become aware of it. I'm not saying change it. And that's another thing about astrology. I'm not saying change your placement. No. It's not. That's not what it's about. It's about awareness. What am I doing? How am I coming across to this person? And I'm telling you, with these people, when you come to communicate with these people, and this is in general, this is a thing that you will deal with your whole life. Somehow, one way or another, you will deal with this. And it's about communication to the other person, to your business partner, to your partner, to other people. When you come across to them, it's like, what are you talking about? I didn't understand your message. What do you mean? Well, do you muffle when you talk? You're not loud enough when you talk. Something is going on in the background, or whatever it is. They just don't get it. It's muffled. It's like you coming from another world. That's what Pisces is. That's why Pisces is like at its lowest place Mercury is at its lowest place in Pisces. Mercury is like all about, I'm sending one message to you. I have something to say and I want to send it to you. Or you have something to say and I need to analyze it. I need to digest it, or whatever you want to call it. Those are the things you have a problem with. Like you just do not understand the other person, or they don't understand you. And the solution is what I'm talking about. Understanding that, okay, man, what is it? What is it? And they just don't get you. So speak up. One thing, speak up so they can hear you. Make your message, ask them, ask the other person. How can I, what I'm saying, what I'm trying to communicate to you, how can I get that out to you clearer? Because Pisces is all about like this. All smoke, all foggy. You can't really get it. You can't get the gist of it. That's what Pisces is about. So when you communicate, that's what they're getting. They're getting that smoke. Like what? I can't see you clearly. I don't. And like I said, the solution is the realization and the awareness to know this. In other words, work on making your communication clearer and more precise and more practical, more Virgo like. Wow. More Virgo like. Okay. And then when it comes to your career, this person wants to know about the career. The career. They have Gemini there, of course, with a Virgo rising. And Mercury, again, it's in the 7th house. They have the MC. They have the MC in 2 degrees of Gemini, which is the constellation of Mixida. Mixida is about, it's the beginning of Mars. Like these are most curious, like one of the most curious people around. Research, 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 research. You who I'm doing this reading for, research. You're mid-heaven, right? You're mid-heaven. You're beginning of your first house. It's 2 degrees Gemini. It's on the Gemini side. So like you require research. You want to for this has got to be a researcher. This has got to be someone who and because Mercury is in the 7th house, you research about relationships. That'll be a good career for you. Like somebody who like people who like they'll go and get stats for relationships. Like, okay, people who I don't know get counseling, their relationship, their marriage is 80% better than somebody who doesn't get counseling. That's what I'm saying. That's the kind of placement that this is. Because, like I said, when 2 degrees Gemini in general, they're curious people. Curious people. But with these degrees, with 2 degrees from 23.21 degrees of Taurus to about 6.20 degrees of Gemini is ruled by Mars. So they're active about it. Whatever they are researching, whatever they find out, they want to put it into action. And they're actively pulling this stuff off. Like they'll go, like, man, like I want to know about. I wonder how many relationships, how many marriages survive after this blah, after this point, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. These people, they will go on as soon as they feel like this. They will go on Google and actively look it up, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. Or they will do what they have to do. They will go and talk to people. That's what Mars is. It's action. You're going to talk to people. They'll go out and go to, I don't know, conferences. They'll go whatever. They'll expend their energy to find out these things. That's what your but that's what your career environment is about. Or looking at this chart should be about, where you will find the most satisfaction. Like, oh yes, this I feel at home. This is what I feel I need to be doing. Just a slight example. All right, and then one last thing I wanted to touch on. This person has Pisces in the descendant. They want to know about relationships. And I read this on, I give everybody shout outs, but I read this on Cafe Astrology that every sign, every house, a sign in a house means that the principles of that sign is realized through that house. So Pisces in the 7th house means that things like transcendence, meditation, merging, the other world, sleep, everything that the 12th house is about. Because wherever a sign sits, it brings the original house that it rules to the house that it sits in. So Pisces rules the 12th house. For this chart, it sits in the 7th house. So it's going to bring everything from the 12th house over to the 7th house, which is everything I said. Sleep. The other world. When you go to sleep. Whatever you experience. Dreams. Meditation. Asylums. Institutions. People who feel like they are a victim. Hospitals. Like I said, asylums. People who feel like they're victim. Meditation, yoga. So all of these things. Also another thing, like your ability to merge with the unconscious, merge with everything. Because, and here's another thing, here's another secret, it's not really a secret. Every single planet, when they sit in a house, they bring the activities of the house that they rule into the house that they sit. So for this example, Mercury rules the 1st house. This person wants to know about their relationships. That's the 7th house. I'm sorry. 7th house. Jupiter sits in the 12th house. So, in other words, all activities of the 12th house go into serving the agenda of the 12th house. Everything that's happening, all the people, what they're doing with those people, the relationships, the activities, everything goes into the house where it sits. So in this case, this person has an excellent Jupiter because their Jupiter's in Leo. One of the best places for Jupiter to be. Jupiter wants to be in fiery signs because that's his nature. That's his nature. He wants to inspire people, wants to get people up, get people in action, get people going. He wants to inspire people more than anything else. And Jupiter sits in one of the signs of inspiration, which is Leo. So what does that mean? The Lord of the 7th house being in the 12th house means that you want to take your partner or your capacity for partnership, that the part of you wants to court with other people and become not one with other people, but to relate to other people. That's the 7th house. into the 12th house of solace, meditation, refuge. So what that means is for you to court with somebody else or not, for better or worse, your ability to court with somebody else and make a relationship with somebody else is going to affect your sleep. If you're good at doing it, you sleep better. If you suck that day or that phrase, that phase, that week, that month, sleep is gonna lack. It's gonna be hindered. 12th house is sleep. 7th house is your ability to court with other people, get along with other people. 7th house is the house of other people, everybody else. You're the first house. 7th house is this. This is you, right? That's the 7th house. Every single thing you look at on the other end of the spectrum is a 7th house, and your ability to be harmonious, make a harmonious relationship, which is also the 7th house, the original sign of Libra, which rules this house, is about making harmonious relationships, making the environment harmonious between you and other people. That affects your sleep, that affects your meditation, that affects your ability to merge with other people, that affects your ability to get away from it all. The hustle and bustle of the everyday grind, which is the 6th house. Opposite is the 12th house. Such a beautiful story. Astrology is such a beautiful story. Your relationships affect your sleep. Your relationships affect your sleep. Now, that could be different from other people. Some other people might have their 7th house lord in the 6th house, meaning that their ability to, make that courtship be harmonious with their spouse, their wife or husband, could affect how they do at work. For you, it affects your sleep. It affects your ability to regenerate, relax. In other words, it affects your ability. Everything that the 6th house is everyday hustle and bustle, work, nutrition, working out, just putting your energy into something productive. 12th house is the opposite of that. It's about getting away from all of that stuff. Okay, when you're not working, you want to go to the other world. Well, there's, I don't know, escaping the regular, practical, earthly life. Some people, they drink. Some people, they smoke. Some people meditate. Some people do yoga. Some people go, whatever the case may be. For you, since Leo is on the ascendant, theatricality is the escape. Because Leo is a sign of that. Expressing yourself. Dealing with children. And you see the big picture. You see the whole entire beautiful picture. The Lord of the 7th house is in the 12th house. And like I said, the agenda, the activities of the 12th house take place, and the activities of the 7th house take place in the 12th house. So this is where you come to it. It all depends on this, because this is where the Lord sits. It sits in the 12th house. So In other words, here's what you can take from this. And let me know. Let me know in the comments or email me back. See how you do when you have good sleep, when you get good sleep, and see how your relationships do. If you're having problems with relationships, see how your sleep is doing. Are you involved at all with charities, with institutions? Do you go off on your own regularly? What I mean on your own, I mean, like I said, the 12th house is like you are in a completely different area. Isolation, 12th house. Solitude. Do you do that regularly? And when you do it, is it in a Leo kind of way? Would you go off on your own? Are you expressing yourself? Don't matter who around. It could be nobody around. Are you engaged in Leonine things? This position is good for somebody who, like, for example, they could make movies about relationships and they can get how they feel. They could express themselves about how their relationships are going behind the scenes. And it helps them deal with those relationships. That's what this placement is about. And since Jupiter is the ruler, what they want to do is impart wisdom. Or what you should be doing with this placement. I'm not telling you what you should be doing. That's not what astrology was about. I'm showing you your stars, your placements. So I'll sum it up in this. I'll sum this whole reading up with this last saying here. For this person, if you have relationship problems, write, make movies, express yourself behind the scenes where nobody else sees, where you feel like you're distant from the rest of the world, where you feel like you're distant from the hustle and bustle of the everyday work life or the everyday routine. And your goal should be, based off what I see, is to impart wisdom, to expand the horizons. I thank you. Have a good night.